President Trump announced that Israel and Hamas have both signed off on what's being called the first phase of a peace plan to eventually end the war in Gaza. If the agreement holds, it could mean the end of a 2-year bloodshed in the region since those October 7th attacks by Hamas. With analysis of the plan, I'm joined by foreign policy expert, co-host of the War and Freedom podcast, Dr. Walid Phares. Walid, thank you for being here. After months of failed negotiation, President Trump announced that the two sides have signed this peace deal, at least the first phase. It was brokered by the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and White House Special Envoy Steve Witkoff. What does that first phase entail? And what about the release of the hostages?
Thank you, Raymond. That phase is the key. I described the whole process, the 20 point that the president put in his plan as, the key. This phase is the bridge to the key. What does that mean? Israel and Hamas will have to undergo a ceasefire. They are so far, and mostly Israel won't complete an operation it was planning. Hamas will release all hostages, no question, no division. So that is the crossing of the first bridge that would tell the president, that would tell the international community that this operation is over and that Hamas also will be forbidden from doing any military move. But the second bridge, if you allow me, will be the real test, and that is a withdrawal by Israel into almost the borders. And then on the other side, Hamas will have to start the disarming operation. So when you and I will discuss it, I don't know, weeks from now, we will see if the second operation is going to bring peace or a renewal of what was a disaster in the past.
Walid, how significant of an achievement is this for the president? There were a lot of people who said this couldn't happen. They're calling President Trump Hitler. Yet here's the biggest and most sought-after peace deal, really, on the international scene right now.
Absolutely. I mean, first of all, Raymond, by comparison between the past president and administration and this president and his administration, there was nothing done between 2021 and 2024, end of 2024. I mean, serious work was not done. Now we see in 9 months, the president being able to convince all sides to put pressure on his Arab friends, to put pressure on his prime minister friend of Israel, Netanyahu, and of course, kind of threatening Hamas. I mean, his words about Hamas were either you do this, either you go through the process, or else. What he meant by that, you'll have the treatment that he gave to the regime, Islamic regime of Iran or other places. So that by itself is an achievement. Now, the rest will be linked to how his friends will pressure Hamas. I mean, seriously, you have to have Qatar pressuring Hamas, Turkey pressuring Hamas, Israel committing to allow this to happen, and they are. So this is the biggest achievement that President Trump has done in all of his dealing with the Middle East, with the exception of the Abraham Accord that should come to complete this process.
What was Jared Kushner's role in all this? Do you know?
I don't know the facts, but what we know in the community of experts and people who follow this, and those who are closer to the Trump camp, is that Mr. Kushner has been the engineer, one of the engineers of the first Abraham Accord meeting, but also he has been very active with the Saudis, with the Emiratis, with the Qataris. Obviously, in terms of business, he's a private sector person now, but he has success in bringing all these countries together to accept the president's plan.
Walid, what does a strong, durable, everlasting peace deal look like? I mean, we've heard this before. They have signed peace accords in the past. What makes this agreement different, do you think? Is it?
That's probably the best question in town. Basically, I'm going to make it very simple. The difference between this one and all peace agreements with Egypt, Jordan, the Abraham Accord, UAE, Bahrain, talks with the Saudis is simple. One of the two parties in that conflict, Gaza, is a terrorist organization. All the other, players in previous deals were not terrorists. They were just opposed to each other. The issue here is to make sure that Hamas is disarmed. I mean, people are talking about transforming Gaza into a Riviera, transforming Gaza City into Dubai. Yes, this is the future. But the path to the future, that bridge, the second bridge I was talking about, is really the disarming of Hamas. Once you have that done, then you think about which government should be there, what is the role of the Arabs, of the US, the business part of it, the economic part of it, and of course the Israeli guarantees. One condition is that there will be no jihadi organization armed in Gaza.
So you're hopeful then that this deal may pass. I mean, I'm going to play you a little clip of this. This is the Patriarch of Jerusalem, who is ecstatic this morning. Watch.
We know very well we have to be very realistic and not naive, but this time, today, is time to rejoice. This news brought a new atmosphere, a new spirit of trust, minimum of trust and hope within the respective population, Israelis and Palestinians, and this is very important.
Your reaction, Walid, are you filled with joy today over this?
I do not react that, with like people who actually are joyful on the ground. Families are joyful, churches, are now happier than before. Moderate Muslims also thanking God that, the war is over. All of that is emotional, and I understand it. It's like at the end of World War II or at the end of any other war. I look at it as a geopolitical analyst. It's a great step. We need to continue to focus. And once the second step is done, like the disarming of Hamas, and then, of course, sitting to negotiate the future, then I'll be happy, but geopolitically, because I would know that there will be no more attacks by any jihadi organization against Israel or against any other minorities in the region. Since the church leaders are speaking now, the real key, not just in Israel and in Gaza with Hamas, everywhere in Syria and Iraq and Iran, once the jihadists are disarmed, that's peace. The rest is history as it is.
Okay, Walid, we will, of course, stay in touch with you as all of this develops, and if history is any lesson, it will develop. Iran, an Imperialist Republic, and U.S. Policy by Dr. Walid Phares is available at bookstores everywhere and online. Walid, we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.